Incredible Dream Studios first brought us Kinfire Chronicles Night's Fall. This big, sprawling game where you have playable characters and going all through the land. But today, I'm not talking about this big one. I'm going to be talking about this small one. Vainglory's Grotto. Kinfire Delve. Reverse those and you got the name. Alright, so I will tell you what I think of this one after I show you a little bit of what's inside and kind of how it plays over a few rounds. See you back here. Alright, so here I have the start of setting up a game for Kinfire Delve, Vainglory's Grotto. I'm going to show you some of the components first, and then I'll finish setting up and show you how a couple rounds play, and then kick it to the end of the game and show you kind of how that plays. So you have a deck of exhaustion cards, a deck that's really just like 6 cards. Here's those. They do various different things. You'll get those when they're exhausted. You're going to have these shuffled up. You are going to have gauntlet cards for the Wellmaster you are facing. Those are just going to be set off to the side. You have 3 copies of Vainglory the Collector. They all have the same power on this side as when attempting a challenge. It gains +1 difficulty for every other challenge with the same name in play. And then you'll see on this side, they have different challenge levels, different damage, and different abilities on the bottom. So you're going to shuffle these up. And you are going to put one of them right over there in the middle. Set the other 2 aside for now. You then are going to pick a character, either Core or Asha of Brillbrook. We are going to use Core because he's the one that I always use. But otherwise, here's Asha's deck. So as you see, different powers. So the color is going to be based on the challenge, which we'll get into, and then the boost also helps there. But just give you a quick look at their deck. And then the back of the card. So if you have played Kinfire Chronicles, you'll notice a lot of these names are the same as cards on there. A lot of the art's the same, and it plays the same, but it is a much quicker experience. So that is her Lantern card, and that is her main card. Alright. So you have this huge deck of cards. And if you look on this side, they have all these different colors and all these different types. And we will get more into how these cards play. There's the events as we go through. Alright, let me just give this a quick shuffle. So you shuffle this. You have these tokens. You'll set them aside to be used. And you know what? Let's just give this one a shuffle like this. There we go. Set that aside, and then you deal out 4 face up around Vainglory. Like so. You will have these 4 dice, and you'll have a life die set to 10. Let's go ahead and set that up there for now. So for your deck, here's Core's deck. You're going to put their face card right there. You're going to take their Lantern card face down. I am playing in much abbreviated space. Usually you'd have this all kind of spread out. And then you have his deck, and you will shuffle up his deck. Like so. Alright. Then, depending on player count, you're going to draw so many cards. I am showing you a 1-player game, so that's going to be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then you're going to set that aside. You're going to make sure you have a discard pile available for the well and this. In fact, you actually start the game by discarding 3 off of the well deck. And you can turn them that way to make sure you don't mess them up with your actual deck. You then are going to look at your hand and look at the colors. And then look at what's around here. So each challenge has a color and a challenge number. When you do a challenge, you need to match the color of the challenge. So these need to be green, red, blue. A white card is universal. It can go against any challenge. These also have different abilities on them. So the Cup of Fools is when attempting this challenge, if you roll the darkness symbol, you fail. If failed, discard this challenge and reduce your health to 1. So that is ridiculously crazy. Deadly Rose, if failed, suffer 2 damage for every other combat in play. So that's a trap, this is a combat, that's a puzzle, that's a combat. So she'd be doing 4 damage to us. The Maze wants other copies of Maze in play, and the Hunting Kaz, if you attempt any other challenge, this challenge first deals 1 damage. Alrighty, so that is what these have going on. Where the skull is the damage you take if you fail the challenge. The trophy is the rewards. In most instances, it's discard pile or discard cards out of the draw pile, because you do want to get rid of this so you can attempt the Well Master. So for instance, let's say I'm going to go after the Hunting Cat, so that way I don't take damage from them attacking me. I'm going to look at the cards in my hand. They all have a basic challenge amount and an ability down here, and this one down here is a boost. So that's a combat, so this puzzle one isn't necessarily going to be good. This is more for an obstacle. So I think we're going to go ahead and start with the Shard Whip. So we're going to attempt this challenge with the Shard Whip. It's got a 3, and +2 for each shield you discard. The shields are over here. Is there any shield I want to get rid of? Let's go ahead and get rid of this Heart of Kinfire. So we discard that. So now I'm at a 3 + 2 is 5. I now have an option to boost this up to twice. The boost has to match the color, so I'd have to look for one that's got the green on it, or the white boosts are universal. 3, 5, I still need 2. I am going to not boost a card though. You then take the 4 dice and you roll them, and then any colors that match this, you would increase the challenge amount. Or if you roll a light symbol on this die. I rolled none. That is unfortunate. So I take 3. I take 5 of these markers, progress markers, tokens, and put it on there. I then suffer 2 damage. Now, core is self-sacrificing. Typically, when I fail a challenge, I can reduce any damage suffered for every shield on that action or boost. I didn't think I needed to boost it, so I didn't. But had I used this one, it would have reduced it by 1. Did not, so I take 2 damage, so I'm down to 8. And that's it. Now I do another challenge. If this is a 2-player game, the other person would go, and then I would go. And in a 2-player game, only your partner can boost your attack. So when I play that, only the other player could boost it. You normally can't boost your own. Only in a solo play. So I'm going to go ahead and finish him off. We're going to use Flickers here, which is a 2. And then if you complete the challenge you're attempting, extra 3 discard. So I will roll regardless, because in the case of Cup of Fools, if I roll a darkness, then bad things happen. So I roll. I actually got 2 more successes, so that's 4. So we put the 4 on there. We then check to see if it's completed. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is. So this lets me discard 3. And then another 3 for this. So that's going to be 6. This goes face down into like a completed one. And we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get discarded. We then replenish this with something else. Great Stag. All other challenge that deals damage to you deals 1 additional damage. Alright, so that is examples of those. Let me do one more for this puzzle. So it's a puzzle. So if I go with Fresh Eyes, this is attempting a puzzle, then the light symbol is worth an extra 2 if rolled. So if we did that, and then say, you know what, let's go ahead and do this to boost it by 1. So I am at 3 and 4, rolling the dice. 5 and 6, so I wouldn't have completed it. So we'll throw the 6 on there, and I have to randomly discard 2 from my hand. Pretty sure it was random. If not, I'm just doing it random because this is an example. So 2. Alright, so now I have 1 card left in my hand. Say I don't like this card. Instead, I can exhaust to begin my turn. If I have no cards in my hand, I need to exhaust. What you do when you exhaust is you discard your card, draw 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you draw an exhaustion card. this instance, it's consumed, which is if there's ever 3 copies of the card in play at once, you lose the game. There is a way to get rid of the exhausted cards. When you do, you take the exhausted deck, you shuffle the card back in, and set it off to the side. Alright, so let's jump to how the end game happens. So when you need to draw a card from here and you can't, the Wellmaster appears. You discard all the cards around it, you flip them over, you see what they have, and this one's 21 plus 3 difficulty for every card attached to Vainglory. You then deal out the gauntlets around them, and now you play your turns exactly the same, doing challenges, except that Vainglory is a black card, which means they are invulnerable to all of the colors to start. Instead, you have to attack the gauntlets around it to make it vulnerable to colors. Alright, so say I've attacked this one and I beat this one. So Vainglory is now vulnerable to green and red. So I could go, I'm going to do Tireless against Vainglory, which is a red card, and let's go ahead and boost it by 2. So I'm now attacking Vainglory with a 5 with the challenge. And we roll. So it's 5, 6, 7. And that would stay on there. Now I didn't succeed, but it doesn't do the normal fail where just if you fail, something happens. In the instance of this one, I need to roll the darkness symbol. And for this specific card, if I roll darkness, I get an exhaustion card. If you look at the other ones, this one starts with a challenge level of 18. And if failed and a darkness is rolled, turn a face down challenge card face up. So these keep getting replenished. And then this one is the Sea of Dreams. If, when completed, there are any cards attached to Vainglory, discard one of them and reset this challenge. So again, that one you basically have to go through twice. And then this one was plus 3 for every card attached. And I don't know if you can tell, but these cards are nice because they have some embossedness. Alright, but that is kind of how to play. There are a couple of smaller rules I didn't really cover, but you can find those on your own. That is just an idea of a quick play to show you the mechanics. Now I will take it away and tell you what we think of this game in general. Alright, so that gave you a glimpse into what Kinfire Delve looks like and kind of plays like. So let's get into my thoughts on this game. Alright, so first I'm going to start off with a couple of negatives I have, and they really are kind of nitpicks in all honesty. First one is the D10 that tracks the health. I think I kind of liked it to have been a spin down die, so it'd be like 10, 9, 8, 7. Instead, it's your typical one, so you have your odds and evens, so you're kind of fumbling around looking for your health. Again, it's a nitpick. Just that's one of the things that I would say I would have liked in this, especially since that's the only purpose it has is to track your health. The other is there is some wording in the rulebook that does get a little weird, and a couple of wordings on cards that are kind of left for interpretation, or you might have to run to Board Game Geek and look to see how they play. One of those is the Wellmaster, that when you get to them, since it's a black card, so it's impervious to all the colors. So the actual wording says, as long as the 4 gauntlet cards are face up, the Master's Challenge card may not be attempted. And then over here it says, once the Master is vulnerable to a particular color, may be attempted using that color. So the first part of it makes it sound like you have to defeat all 4 gauntlets before you can attack the Wellmaster. But then in the next paragraph it says as long as it's vulnerable to a color, you can attack the Wellmaster. That can lead to some confusion, and that we played it to where as long as the Wellmaster is vulnerable, we could attack them. But like I said, that's kind of a nitpick that probably is easily going to be fixed in a errata, or you can go to Board Game Geek, or what have you. But that really is my only gripes with the game. My little nitpicks is the spin down die and all that. Outside of that, we did enjoy this game. Production value is phenomenal for the price point. I mean, it's phenomenal in general. This is probably one of the thickest box lids I've ever seen. In fact, we can use it as a dice tray. Really nice. It can bounce off the walls. It is solid and durable, and even has art inside. So that is really cool. It's got a insert in the box to hold everything. So don't just throw everything. You don't have to just throw everything in there. Again, production value, phenomenal. We enjoy that there is no limited communication rules. A lot of times in these co-op games where you have to do the challenges, it's like, so if I were to do red, would that be a good idea? And the person would be like, meh. No, not in this one. In this one, it's like, hey, I'm going to do red. Can you help me? Yeah, do you want me to help you? No, I'm good. So there is no of that limited communication stuff. Also, the fact that there are some kind of tense decisions. Some of the cards are like, if you challenge this one, you're going to take damage first. It's like, okay, but I need to go after this one because if another card of that color comes up, then we're going to have to get damaged or discard or reascend, so we're going to get more cards added. So trying to figure out the balance of which ones to go, even if another one might be hindering you. Straightforward rule set. It technically is bare bones straightforward. There's 4 challenges out there. Choose one. It has a color. Play a card for that color. Someone can boost it with that color. Roll the dice, get the number. Yay. If you got it, reward. If you don't, you'll lose. Simple. Real simple. There's some intricacies that you can figure out in there to try and mitigate stuff, but that's your basic rules. Super simple. I am interested to see how the other decks are playing. They do have 2 more standalone sets planned. And if you've played Kinfire Chronicles, you'll know that they had the 6 characters, so I'm assuming that the other 4 characters are spread out between those 2. So I'm really interested to see what the synergies between those 2 decks might be, because funny enough, the 2 that came in this game are the 2 that the bride and I are currently playing in our Kinfire Chronicles play. So that was pretty fortuitous and pretty cool of it. Other than that, the other thing I really like is that you don't have to go through the whole deck, like literally play every card, because your reward is discarding the cards from the deck. So sometimes you may discard stuff you want, like there's some healing cards in there. If you discard those, then health is going to be pretty tight. But you are trying to churn through that deck as quick as possible, so that's pretty cool. So overall, we enjoy this one. We are definitely going to look into getting the next ones as they come out. And with this being the second game from Incredible Dream Studios, they have shot to the top of a list of one that we are going to be keeping an eye on, instant backing almost, definitely looking into stuff that they release. All right, so I hope that was informative on to you to make a decision on this game. I would say, if nothing else, go ahead and test it, because the gameplay alone will probably wrap you into it. One other side note is I did play this solo, and that is a different puzzle than the 2-player game, because you're going to lose a lot more challenges because each character is kind of focused in one specific way. So, like, you're going to have the tank. All right, well, the tank may not be as good with this stuff. So you're going to have to maybe lose those or try and find a way of working around them. So that is that interesting puzzle in the solo. But anyways, to wrap that all up, I would say 2-player, like, fun, just sit around with your partner and enjoy it. Solo, more brain-burny, thinky, puzzling it out. And that is our final thoughts, as in ours is mine. So if I could go ahead and get you, if you could, to go ahead and like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. Also, if you could look down below into our comments and see all the various links there and check all those out while you are here. Until next time, I am the Groom. This was a review of Vainglory's Grotto, Kinfire Delve.